We're live. We did it.
We're live. We did it. Welcome
Good to be live.
welcome to Joe and Joe's podcast of everything. Catchy name.
We got
huh?
everything here.
We got
We
everything.
got podcasts. We got a Joe and a Joe.
Yep. We're on top of things here. I wonder if I
Dude,
make
I
sure
should
I
have like a cup of Joe. Could have been Ultimate Joe.
My name's Joe and this is Josiah, also sometimes Joe.
Yeah, my friends call me Joe.
And we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons on this show.
Yes.
Mainly just Dungeons and Dragons. We're big fans of D&D. I've been playing for 5-6 years, I think.
Oh wow, that's longer than I thought.
I think I started while still working at I started while still working at Starbucks, and I worked at Starbucks in 2017, 2016. So I think like 5 or 6 years.
Nice.
And you started.
I started like last year when you started that campaign with us. That was my first exposure to Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, so we started a campaign March of last year, 2021.
Yeah.
And because I was like really bored and I was like, I need friends to play D&D with. I don't know why I thought, because like I hadn't played D&D in like 2 years or something.
I want to see like some hard data for like how many people like got into D&D over quarantine, because I'm sure it's a lot, because everyone looked for like things to do online with their friends, and I feel like D&D was something that a lot of people found.
Yeah, I think that's kind of why I got into it again. I had never DM'd before. And
oh yeah, that's what it was. It was your first time DMing.
It was my first time DMing, and I think I was like bored at home, and I knew like I needed to do something with people like that interacted with people. Right. I was so bored at home because of quarantine and everything, and so I was like, screw it, I'll DM or try and DM. Right. And I was like, I'll TM for people that have never played before so that they can't tell that I'm bad.
Real low, yeah.
Yeah, so that they don't know that I'm bad at it. So I invited like 9 people that had never played.
Was it that many?
Yeah, it was 9 people.
Oh, that's sorry, that's how many you and yeah.
I invited 9 and I think 9 played.
Oh right, because you had like 2 groups going, right?
No, I think we had 9 at the first session.
What?
I think.
No, because you were doing the same campaign. You started doing it with like 2 separate groups, right? And
I did. I started
at some point
the same campaign with 2 groups. One that was a little bit more knowledgeable in the game and had played before, but also didn't take it very seriously. And another group that had no idea what they were doing.
Yeah,
which was you guys. Yeah. But eventually you guys became the cool group. You guys were the group that actually the other group wanted to join. And some of them eventually did.
Yeah.
But I think I started DMing, because I needed something to do. And I remembered that I liked D&D, but I had never tried DMing. But I wanted to play it for some reason. I still can't remember what got me back into it. Because again, I hadn't played in like probably a year and a half, 2 years maybe. And then I was like,
they're crazy, man.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I need something to do. So I came up with a campaign and I invited, I think it was 9 people. Because it was you, Laura. No, it was you, Alyssa, Micah. Jack, Lauren, Evelyn.
Right.
And
oh yeah, because there were other people you texted that just didn't want to do it from the beginning and never did it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like 7. Anyways, basically thinned the herd.
Right.
And like basically just like found the people that actually wanted to play.
Right.
That actually came back the next week. Right. And we kept it going, and we just ended when did we end?
We like
I have the
had to be
date.
like
Let me find it.
at least a month ago or something because it was
We
like
ended
mid January
January
maybe.
22nd,
Oh,
2022.
okay, so it was almost the end
So it
of
was like 10
January.
10
Yeah,
months basically.
that
We
sounds
had
about right.
37 sessions. So it was almost a full year. We missed a few.
Yeah,
Um but we stayed pretty consistent with it. We played, you know, for every week and everyone was very dedicated to it,
yeah.
which was fun.
I don't think I realized until like I started talking to more people who have been into Dungeons and Dragons for a while and hearing like how hard it is to have a group meet consistently. Like I didn't
Yeah.
realize how spoiled we were that we had people like a whole group that was available to meet every week and could be flexible and like change days if needed. Like that was huge.
Yeah, that was massive. Like
Yeah.
and I didn't even really think about it either, but like looking back, that's 100% correct. Like when we had this other group, yeah, it was constantly like someone couldn't be there, so we would reschedule or we just wouldn't play. We had a little strip of time where we'd try and play every week, and we would, but it only lasted. And now we played through the Curse of Strahd, which is a campaign book. And so like we didn't have like a full-fledged campaign planned out, like no big homebrewed thing like we did our game from last year.
Right.
I'm talking about 2 years ago when I played. We played through like a source book or like a campaign book. So like once it ended, we didn't really have a ton to do. Our DM at the time, Evan, did write some stuff. And like we did a little bit, but then it kind of just thinned out. We just stopped. But I don't know what got me back into it, but I was like, I really want to play again. And so we did. And we played for a long time. It was a good campaign. It was a good starting campaign.
Yeah, it was so good that we're doing this now.
Yeah.
That's how good.
It was so good that Josiah was like, I need to start a podcast.
It was so good that someone who's never played Dungeons and Dragons before went, we need to do a podcast for this.
Yeah, exactly. Love it. So we're calling this episode Session 0 because I feel like we have a few reasons. Like if you're new to Dungeons and Dragons and or don't know what a Session 0 is, a Session 0 is when you basically get all your players together and you potentially go over a few little story things, but mainly you like work out with them, like making sure they know how their character works, making sure that they're aware of what the world is like, making sure that they're aware of, kind of how the campaign's going to go and the vibes of the place. And that's kind of what this episode is just kind of talking about what we're going to be talking about in the show. So, what are some of the kind of things we're going to talk about? I know we talked about, some brainstorming ideas, but again, most of it's going to revolve around D&D, not necessarily personal stuff. Like we're not going to be just talking about our campaign every week. We might sometimes throw things in if there's like cool stuff. But we have a new campaign coming out that maybe we can hit on, at some point in the podcast, just like what it's like. Cause I've been homebrewing a new campaign, like a new world and new everything. And it's taken a lot of work. So potentially maybe at some point we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
What that whole process is like.
We could also see like if maybe our group would be down to like record our sessions, not necessarily to do anything with, but like that'd be a cool thing to have.
Yeah, to like, clip in maybe for the YouTube channel or whatever.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool. Anyways, but for now, and hopefully, we'll have some of them on as guests and things like that.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But for now, we're just going to talk, mainly about today we're just going to talk about, things to expect from the show, and stuff like that. And but let's give a little bit. Well, I guess we already kind of did give a history of how we started.
I guess one thing that I would want to add is like, while I'd never played D&D, until this campaign that we talked about. As I was growing up, like my dad used to tell me a lot of like stories and like kind of like mention like how nerdy he was as a kid, and like he would play games and like do like Dungeons and Dragons and other RPGs like that with his friends all the
Yeah,
time.
I
So
had
he
no
would talk
idea
about it.
until like
Yeah,
the end of this campaign that we just did.
yeah,
That you actually, your dad had like a big like love for D&D. That's really
yeah.
cool.
I think he just like, I guess when he grew up he just fully dropped it. But I just remember one time we went to this board game store. It's the same one that we went to with you that one time.
Third Eye?
Like in Quince Orchard. No, it's that tiny one
Oh,
where you
the
got
little
the
one.
cash and guns game. Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
that's Play More Games.
yeah, play more games. And we went there and we were just like looking around, and he was looking at the D&D stuff, and he was like, "Oh man, I remember this stuff. Man, it's so complicated now. Look at all these books and stuff."
Yeah,
He's
that's
like, "I would
wild.
totally do it with you, but it looks so complicated now." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
That's crazy.
Yeah. So there was a moment where we could have like almost done a campaign like as kids, like if he decided to get into it, but I think like
Dude,
we
I
were
tell you
doing
what,
so many other things. Yeah.
I don't want kids anytime soon, but like I'm pumped to play D&D with my kids.
100%, dude. 100%.
I don't
Like,
want them
there's
anytime
not
soon.
like
But
there are
when I do,
not gonna be there are not gonna be normal bedtime stories. There will only be bedtime stories with dice, and we're all characters. That's the only way.
absolutely.
Yeah. This is the way.
Yeah, and get all their friends to come play.
Yeah.
And then have some parents be like, "We don't know if this is good for our children." And I'll be like, "No, it's the best for your children.
It's great.
I'm keeping them off the screens."
Keeping them out of the streets, out of the screens.
Yep. Anyways, yeah, so kind of the stuff that we are planning on talking about is kind of topics of D&D. We're just two guys, we're not experts on it, but we have, opinions like everyone else, and we enjoy different aspects of the game. And we've played through, a good chunk of, content and stuff. So I think we'll definitely talk about things that, we appreciate from, a player's perspective, a DM's perspective, things that, we might, recommend to players that are new, that maybe haven't played before, or are just getting into it for, the first time and are very new to the game. Things like, even just simple things like classes and races and what we think you should play, and maybe story elements and things to hit as like a DM, ideas for homebrew stuff. I think we threw around the idea of just like randomly creating side quests and things and just pitching them to each other and seeing what that's like. So like I think we plan on talking about a lot of different stuff, but most of it is going to revolve around D&D.
Right.
Yeah. Cool.
And like maybe if Hunter gets on, we'll have to talk about Mothership, but
Yeah. Yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll talk about other role-playing games too. Mothership's fun. Mothership's like a sci-fi horror one.
yeah, and
We've done that a
he
few
knows
times.
the guy.
He knows the guy. Hunter, if you're listening, we love you. So yeah, I think that's basically it. What you can expect. We would love to hear from people if you have any questions or topics that you want to talk about. We're also streaming this on Twitch every week, so we're going to try and do it every Thursday, the live stream. And then the episode will probably go up either every Tuesday or every Wednesday, we think. So like a week after. So if you want to watch the live version, go to Twitch and, we'll read questions and go over things that maybe, you'd be interested in. Hopefully we can interact with our chat and kind of, review questions that, the chat might have. I think the other thing we wanted to do, we'll throw in some like different book reviews and things like that. I think one of the things we wanted to do was just like almost like a monster of the week or something. I recently got Mordenkainen's Monsters of the Multiverse. And I think it'd be fun just like at the end to just like highlight one monster in it and just go through them. Just talk about them. Maybe have ideas of like how we can use them, where they could be used, potential like side quest ideas off the top of our head of how they could be used. So if you want, we could do that now. I have the book.
I'm down.
Okay, here's the book.
Did you have
Mordenkainen's Monsters of the Multiverse.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's like
a
raised.
beautiful
I
set
got
of
the
books? I really
alternate
need
cover.
to get that.
Shout out to my girlfriend who got them for me for my birthday. All right. So we start with the A's, I guess. And the first creature in Mordenkainen's Monsters of the Multiverse is... Wait for it.
Drum roll.
An Abishai.
Whoa! Yeah.
Whoa. An Abishai looks like... Oh, man. How am I going to do this every week? Should we I should probably have a picture prepared and upload it to OBS so I can show it. But this week, bang. That's what it looks like. That guy right there. Focus
Ooh.
camera. An Abishai.
That
It's
looks tough.
backwards, but you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so a little bit about an Abishai. I guess I'll just read it and then we can comment on it or whatever and maybe think about ways we could use it. Each Abishai was once a mortal who somehow won Tiamat's favor before death and as a result found its soul transformed into a draconic devil to serve at her pleasure in the nine hells. So Tiamat, mother of dragons, queen of dragons, five-headed dragon person, probably the most legendary D&D monster, I think. If you think of the ultimate dragon, it's her. I guess this thing is created to serve her. Each type of Abishai, so there's actually different ones. There's blue ones, black ones, green ones, red ones, white ones.
And they each
all of them
correspond
are
to
in
a
this
different
book.
type of dragon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Each type of Abishai is associated with one of Tiamat's 5 dragon heads: black, blue, green, red, and white. Tiamat deploys Abishais as her agents, sending them forth to represent her interests in the hells and across the multiverse. Some have simple tasks, such as delivering a message to cultists. Others have greater responsibilities, such as leading large groups, assassinating targets, and serving in armies. In all cases, Abishais are fanatically loyal to Tiamat, ready to lay down their lives if needed. Abishais stand outside the normal hierarchy of the nine hells, having their own chain of command and ultimately answering to Tiamat. And Asmodeus, however you want to say it.
Asmodeus.
Some people say Asmodeus. I say Asmodeus. When he chooses to use them. So I guess they listen to not just Tiamat, but Asmodeus too. Other archdevils can command Abishais to work for them, but most archdevils do so rarely, since it's never clear whether an Abishai follows Tiamat's orders or Asmodeus's. There is an inherent risk in countermanding. Countermanding? What does that word mean? Countermanding. Anyways, countermanding. I guess that means counter-demanding is what I'm going to guess. There's
that's what I'm
risk
guessing
in
too.
demanding an Abishai. In order,
I really feel like I have to look that up now.
there's an inherent risk in countermanding an order given by Tiamat, but interfering with Asmodeus's plans invites certain destruction. Whoa. So,
you're.
am I
I
right?
can't tell if it's revoking a command or
Here's a few
giving
more
a
pictures
different
of some of them. These are the reds and the blues and the greens and the stuff. I gotta have a picture
okay.
ready. I'm gonna have a
It's
picture.
got a large scalpel. That's cool.
Yeah. Next week I'll have a picture that I can pop up on the screen instead of having to show the book. But this
No,
week
we want to see a real one. Bring a real one.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay. Cool. So they're kind of secret agents of Tiamat. I didn't even know these things existed. They're humanoid evil dragonborns that live in Avernus, which is cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Oh, and each of them have a specific thing too. It says the black Abishai are expert assassins, blue Abishai are seekers of lore and relics, green are adept at discovering secrets and other sensitive information. Red have no equals among the Abishais when it comes to leadership ability and raw power. so they're probably the leaders. And then white Abishai fight with a reckless fury, suited for bolstering ranks of Tiamat's army. So they fight like without fear and stuff. That's kind of cool. So you could choose if you have Tiamat in your game, or you want aspects of her, you could throw some Abishai out there and, you know, potentially freak your players out thinking that Tiamat's doing some spying. That's kind of cool.
If they know about Tiamat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I'm saying is like maybe, I don't know, you have like a town or something that's being attacked by something and there's an Abishai there.
Or you could just like have them,
and then
if they go to Avernus, just have them all over the place.
yeah, you could do that too. Yeah, you'd probably just use them to help, you know, build up Tiamat's plans, whatever that is.
Yeah.
I'm trying to decide because, and we'll probably get into this in a different episode, but like my world that I made is basically like there's a bunch of gods, but none of them are allowed to step foot on land anymore. So basically there's like a giant shield or like bubble around the planet, around the realm, and the gods cannot pass through it. So the only way to get, you know, the only way for them to
Have you ever had a dream
outlive when you and then where you no the only way for them to actually do anything or have any impact on the world is like through just people and pawns and like kind of talking to them. But I'm trying to still think, because I'm still in the process of creating the whole thing, I'm trying to think about other like gods and giant monsters such as Tiamat and people like that, and how they might react to a world that was like that, and if they would try and take it over, because it's basically like it is godless country. Other than because like there's no gods in it, they can talk through it, but like if one were to get in, they'd basically rule the whole thing. So I'm trying to decide if, you know, people like Tiamat beings like Tiamat would try and infiltrate. But I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
Could be cool.
Yeah, it could be.
Or like just give them like really powerful like representatives that are down like on the world.
Yeah, be cool. Anyways, do you have anything else you want to talk about in this episode? I think we pretty much summed it up. We're just going to hopefully do it every Thursday. Episodes will be live, let's say every Wednesday. Yeah, so if you want to watch, you know, the episodes early, a week early, then you can check us out on Twitch. We'll try and go live around like 1:30 Eastern, depending on, you know, when it is, maybe earlier, sometime on Thursdays. And then we'll put the episodes out on every Wednesday. We're just going to talk about D&D stuff, potentially give a few updates on our campaign once it starts. It's going to start here in probably a week and a half, maybe a week.
Yeah. Wow, that's soon.
Yeah, I mean,
dude, I'm so excited.
I am too. I just need 2 more backstories, and then I'll be ready. Like nice. For the most part. So like I'm thinking next Monday, not this coming Monday, but next Monday, we'll start. And then maybe, you know, for that episode, after we start, you can kind of talk a little bit about who you're playing as a character and stuff.
We can talk a little bit more about the world. Character creation then, yeah. Yeah,
and we can talk a little bit more about the world and how to create a good character, maybe some backstory stuff. Yeah, that's a good idea. Cool.
Sweet.
Excellent. Well, thanks for joining us, people, and listening. Remember to subscribe, hit that bell icon.
Smash that subscribe
button. And leave a comment if you liked it. Leave a rating, something like that. We appreciate you listening, and we will be back next week with probably, you know, some character creation or something like that. Cool.
All right.
W. All right. Peace, man.